Hello and welcome back again for day 2 of QuickBooks. So we will be starting with, this is our weekly schedule and day 2, as I mentioned before and as I have shared with you yesterday, we have the PDF from the online exercises. That's what we have to do, and we also have a PowerPoint presentation, okay, from QuickBooks, and of course we have the instructors video, and we also have the QuickBook video, which is provided by the QuickBook itself. Right. So now that we have done up to the taxes, the day 2, we are going to learn about sign into the, of course, we need, by now you should know how to sign in, understand the information displayed on the dashboard, how to find what you're looking for, and how to create new transactions and what buttons and fields do on transactions, which we will find on the transactions. So by the end of the day, you should be able to, comfortable with the dashboard and all the transaction and how to enter those transactions. Okay, so let's go to the green tree landscaping, and this is where the main screen is, the navigation pane. Right, here we are. So let's start with the chapter 2, and this is the resource material which I was talking about, and you would find exercises in it. Lessons objective, lesson objectives. These are the lesson objectives. Sign in. I'm sure you would have signed in by now. Make sure that you have it saved on the Google so that you don't have to type on, keep on typing the username and password. Right, the dashboard. And this is the dashboard, right? Get things done, okay? I have briefly explained to you all these shortcuts. Let's go to the business overview, and there you would find, in a way, QuickBooks and Sage, they are like ERP system. They are like enterprise resource planning. They help us, the organization and the decision makers, to take some informed decisions using some of these tools out here, right? But right now we don't have anything, right? But that's because we haven't entered anything at all, right? Everything's zero, right? Once you enter, you would find here net income last 30 days and expenses in blue, right? So yeah, so that will give a snapshot picture of how the company is performing, income and expenses. Since we haven't done any, so that doesn't show anything at all. Now we also have bank accounts. It's still zero since we haven't entered, right? And right, so let's go back again to the navigation bar, and we have the dashboard here. Hello everyone, and welcome back for our QuickBooks Part 2 on Day 2. Now, we have, I have given here a set of questions or rather transactions, right, for green tree landscapers, right? And we are going to enter those on our QuickBook entry online. And through that, we will be learning on how to enter these transactions. And mostly there are accounts receivables, cash payments, bills, receipts. We shall go through one by one, okay? Right, here we are. Right, so as you mentioned, we are going to enter these transactions, which are given here. The first one of which is green tree landscapers provided services for 16,000 cash for U-Tower Incorporate. Right at the bottom, you would find the customers U-Tower Incorporate, their address, and as well as and it's a cash payment, so therefore there's no terms in it. So let's enter the transaction. Okay, so let's go back to so it's an invoice, right? So click on the invoice, and the customer, we need to add it, and the customer display name, as it is given here, it's U-Tower Incorporate. It's a corporate client. Copy that, and yeah, U-Tower. We don't have any email addresses. If we do have, we will put it as YouTube U-Tower at gmail.com. Okay. We don't have much of a detail of that, so let's enter the billing address, and which is given there, which is, this is what it is. Copy that and enter it here. Well, North York. And the city, as the city is the North York, and the province Ontario, and then postal code, right? So let's save that, save it, and you would find that save, right? It's net 30. In this case, due on receipt, right? So that's why it is cash, right? It's a cash payment, so therefore it's due on receipt. Yeah. And then we will be entering the receipt, payment receipt, no sooner that is done. So invoice date is 13th, due date is also 13th. Invoice number 1001. The services is, what was the services all about? It was all about landscaping, provided landscaping services. Okay. And let's take it here and enter it as, there are a few more services which are given here, but besides that we can add as well. So it comes as a service, and landscaping services. We don't have the logo here, so we'll just leave it like that. And the category, well, we'll just leave it as a services, right? Save it. Income account is a sales account, and sales tax we can include HST Ontario, and save it. So the amount was 16,000, wasn't it? Tap that, HST will come to 2080, and the total due is 18,080, right? And save and send. Well, you're not going to send it because that's not a real save and new, all right? But if you want to send that to the customer via email, well, click on save and send, all right? Now that we have we have earned that, we need to ensure that we record that, right? So you tell incorporate undeposited fund, but we'll leave it at the undeposited fund for now because we have not connected to a bank account. So if that's the case, then we have to, in real life, you will connect to a real bank account, which you have it. But we're not going to, um, we are not going to use it, connect to a real bank. So therefore, we will make sure that we deposit in the undeposited funds. So the reference number is 1001, right? And that was the invoice, right? Okay, we'll leave it at that. Payment method, it was cash. So you would see there, it's already there, I mean, just check mark that. Obviously, it will just appear there and clear payments, right? But if not, if it is a direct payment, you could, rather than going into the invoice, you could directly come to the receive payment and enter cash here and then enter the description here. We can do that one as well. But if not, it would appear the invoices which are supposed to be paid, right? Or which was paid already. So that's the one which you need to check mark that and then clear payment and save and close. Okay, amount received. Oops, I think, hang on. Yep. Once again, check mark that. Everything appears there. Save and close. So receives payment 18,080, and that is saved, right? And if you want to check the received payments, you would see here payment received 18,080, right? And when I close it, when you look at the business overview, you would see that there's an income of 16,000. Okay, and that's the income which we recorded just now. You see that sudden increase in sales in the month of September, right? Looks like, yeah. Now, should you need to, since it was September, you see that I didn't change the date, I mean, by default, I kept September. But if you want to change the date, you can always go back to, you see that that's the invoice which we generated a minute ago. The invoice date we can change to August 1st because we had September there earlier, right? We can come back here and change into August 1st. Obviously, since it's due on receipt, the due date will also be the same date. Then change on to save. Automatically it will change. Then you need to go back to receive payment and then go back to the receipt, right? And payment. And the payment date has to be changed to August 1st as well, because, and then save and new, because we have to follow the dates which are given here, which is August 1st. August, it's the month of August. I believe everyone's quite clear with that. So we have recorded the first invoice and the first receipt, right? And now if you go back to business overview, then you would see that the month of August is where it should show. It's not this week. The month of August, July, and it's August that shows a 16,000 bill, or rather a sale, right? You see that the month of August has gone up. June, July, August has gone up to 16,000. Is that clear? Right. Now let's go back to the next transaction. Now, for the convenience, I changed all the August to September so that, it's not going to affect your transactions there. So we will leave it as September instead of August. All right. So no confusion. It's going to be the same month which we are in, and you could have the transactions to be on September. Now let's go to the next transaction, which is Green Tree Landscapers paid $2,400 for 6 months of bill insurance effective immediately. Okay. I made a few changes here. So on September 1st, Green Tree Landscapers paid $2,400 for insurance services of bill insurance effective immediately. So you are paying for 2,500 insurance expenses, right? It's an insurance expenses. So therefore, let's go to the pay bills, right? And then it's a bill because it's for suppliers. Where it says enter bill, let's enter the bill. And the supplier name is bill insurance, right? Let's copy everything for now. So and then the address is given here. And of course the terms are net 15. So you would see the terms here, net 15. You just have to select the term net 15 out there and save it. Yeah, perfect, right? Bill date bill date is, let's make it September 1st, and the due date obviously has to change as well, 16th September, right? Since we are paying on cash effective immediately, we are changing into due on receipt, right? And then the category is expenses, insurance expenses. And how much was that? It's 2,400, wasn't it? Yes, right. That's it. And sales tax. So that's the final tally, right? 2,712. Looks good. Save and close. There you go. And if I look at the business overview, you would see here the expenses are around 2,400. The profit now has reduced to 13,600, right? Okay. So that's how you do the transactions. Now we have done the receipt of payment as well as invoice, and we also did an expenses, and that was not accounts payable, but then straight away paid cash. On our next video, we would continue with our rest of the exercises, right? And by the end, you would see quite a number of you would familiarize with your the invoices as well as your bills. Until then, until I see you on the next video, have a wonderful evening. Hello and welcome to another session on QuickBooks for day 2. Now let's continue. Now that you must have got some idea with regard to how QuickBooks operates, let's try to do the rest of the transaction. I will do about 3, and I want you to continue with the rest of the transactions. Okay, so we've done up until B and C, and yep, we got two C's here. So looks good. So let's continue with D and E, and then I would expect you to continue up until F. I will do it, and then I would expect you to continue up until O, and then I would expect the reports to be completed and sent it across to me. Okay, so let's do D. Pay 2,000 furniture purchased from Bay. Paid 2,000 cash for furniture purchased for Bay Incorporate. So let's do that. So going back again to your the business overview, the home page, you would find there. So you paid, right? So the top is related to the customers, and the bottom is related to the suppliers, right? At the receipt, that's so we need to click on the bill. It's a supplier, you would see that. And so let's add the supplier first of all, and it's going to be Bell, rather Bay, right? Bay Incorporates and net 30. Let's copy that and paste it here. We'll have the address line here, company name, of course we will use that. So we've got the address line completed. Company name, we would use it as Bay Incorporates. Okay. And as you further go down the terms, you would see it. Let's have the term net 30. Okay. We would, as we progress on our QuickBook exercises, we will learn on how to create account number. For now, just let's learn about up to this point. Right. Now that we have this, we incorporate terms, net 30. First of all, we paid cash, isn't it? We paid cash. So therefore, it's paid on receipts. So let's change that into due on receipt. So therefore, it will be paid right at the time of the purchase. So the mailing address, it should, by default, it should appear. Let's see why it doesn't appear. So if you need to see, save it. Let's close it for a moment. If you want to see the suppliers, you could have it on the bookmark or the shortcut. So receipts, we can have all these things on the bookmark as well, right? Taxes. So you could quickly go to that, save it, and you would see the suppliers. So if you want to see the suppliers, Bay Incorporate, you find the supplier here. And if you want to click on it, you would see Bay Incorporate. There's nothing recorded, and you would also see the address which appears there, right? If you want to edit, you can edit that, and yeah, okay. So address, everything looks good. Save it. Right. If you want to create the invoice once again at Bill, Bay Incorporate terms, due on receipt, and Yeah, the category furnitures. It's purchase of furnitures. If you don't have it, well, we could have it as we can add it, right? Um, so you would see here current account type, it's current asset, furniture, and other current assets, it's furniture. If you want, I can have it under a sub account, but for now, I'll just leave it as the main account there. Save, close, right? Other current assets, description, furniture, and amount was 2,000, and sales tax, which you paid. Tab it one more time, do you see that 2,260, and save and close. That's it. Right, so you paid for it, right? And they incorporate. You paid for that, 2,260 overdue. Save it. As you see that they were marked paid. So technically, if you're coming back again to the 2,260, you would see their bills and which was paid. Takes a bit of time, just bear with me for a while. Right, now let's go to the second one, which was, that's E, isn't it? And September 3rd, she paid 3,200 cash to rent space in ABC Strip Mall for September. Okay, so first things first, remember the date, September 3rd, she paid 3,200 for ABC Strip Mall. All right, so that's also a supplier. So let's go back again. So add a bill. And whom are we paying for? ABC Strip Mall. So it's given here, ABC Strip Mall. Just do the same thing which I did before. The payment terms will be due on receipt, and the rest of things are completed. Save it. And then the terms are due on receipt, and the bill date, make sure that bill date is different. September 3rd, wasn't it? Yeah, it should be September 3rd, 3,200. Often we may forget to change that. Bill number, we have to enter that, bill number 1002. Okay. And yeah, so what is this all about? It's an expenses. So insurance or rental expenses, if it is not there, well, we have to create a rent expense. Promotional rent, PQRST. So you don't find rent expenses. Take rent and lease payments. There you see that. Amount 3,200. Commercial leasing. So therefore, the tax includes, and that would be 13%. Tab it one more time, and that's perfectly fine, right? Looks perfectly wonderful. Save and close. Right. Now come to pay bill. You would see that strip mall, cash on hand, minus. Right. It shows the account balance as well. Okay. And save it. One bill is marked as paid, right? Or enter new bill, you can create another new bill here. So if you want to see the bills which was created before, these are the bills that was created before. And if you want to see the invoices that was generated before, you see that? That's the invoices that was generated before. And received payments, if you want to see them, do you see that payment? Those are received payment. It's already been received. There's some internet issues, hence taking some time to load, but at least we know that the invoice exists. You see that? When you click it, it should appear with complete, but since we're taking some time, I will show you on a later date. All right, but you should see that on your own. Right, so we've done the two here, and I would expect you to complete the rest of the transaction. September 4th, furnished the shop by installing old equipment, and some new equipment, a mix of those. And she bought it on credit for 21,000 from Bay Incorporate. So what do you need to do? So it's from Bay Incorporate. It's a add bill. Bay Incorporate is already there, right? The terms, net 30, if I'm not mistaken, and the date. Make sure that you change the date as well, and the date should be September 4th. September 4th, and the due date should change. Yeah, it's already changed. Due date October 3rd, 4th. And you know exactly what you should do. So you bought furnitures, isn't it? So you would see here current assets. Okay, you should see current assets here. Other current assets, under which you would see other current assets. That's furniture. That's the one which you should select. And then the amount was 21,000. Obviously, there's sales tax involved. HST. Tab it one more time and save and close, right? And that should be saved. So if you want to check on the invoice, you go back to the invoice. It's not invoice, sorry. If you have to check on the bill, Bay Incorporate. As I said, it's taking some time to generate that. Some technical issues, but you should see it when you click on it, right? And so therefore, I want you to complete the rest of the transaction. Once you're done with that, I want you to generate the reports. How do you do that? Right at the bottom on the navigation pane, well, you can add the bookmarks from here and add reports as well. And you would find reports. Click on the reports. And this will generate the balance sheet, should you need it, right? If you want to click on the journal entries, you can do that, right? And if you want to get accounts receivables, aging, as well as the balance sheet, if you want to check on the balance sheet, there you go. You can do that as well. And if you want to get any management reports, you'll see that sales performance, reports based on sales performance, expenses, standard. You'd also see expenses related, accounts receivables, customer balance detail, all right, customers, sales by customer, right? Sales by customer, do you see that? Customer summary. And also expenses, you see that? Expenses by supplier summary. If you click on it, you would see that ABC Strip Mall 3,200 Bell Insurance. That's the total expenses of ours, right? So I want you to generate these reports and send me the profit and loss account at the end of the month, right? And the balance sheet as well. Okay. Yeah, should you have any trouble, you know how to contact me and get in touch with me via email. I should be able to get back to you as soon as possible. Enjoy the rest of the transactions which are here, and let's touch base on day 3. Okay? Have a wonderful evening.